Howdy everybody, I'm Kendall Richardson. Welcome, 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 welcome. If this is welcome, if I can talk, hello. If this is your first time joining us, you're here for Captain America, the First Avenger. If not, you know, you've watched all my other videos before this, because this is number 5. I did think about it then. Number 5 in my series of Marvel movies, Marvel Cinematic Universe, countdown to Infinity War, which is creeping closer and closer as it does. Oh, just banged that, that's not good. So yes, today we're going to talk about Captain America, the First Avenger. So this was the debut of Chris Evans in the role of Captain America. Yeah, he does just a phenomenal job, as we know. Right from the get-go, he was Steve Rogers to a T, perfectly nailed it. Really just, I don't know how to really explain just how he just gets that character, but he just does, and it's wonderful. He's absolutely wonderful in the role. Perfect casting, like best casting since, you know, Chris Hemsworth for Thor and Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. You know, they just really seem to nail the casting at Marvel as they keep on proving time and time again. It's fantastic. So the trailer for the movie I checked out beforehand. Yeah, I'm starting just to notice a pattern with these Phase 1 movie trailers. They're pretty stock standard, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too, you know, risque or adventurous or just, you know, it's just, I feel in a world we're living post Infinity War trailers now is kind of hard to kind of, pardon me, nothing comes close to that at all. Like nothing really. It's on another level. So yeah, but this trailer is just, you know, quite, yeah, it was fine. It was good. It does a good job of setting up the movie and what it's going to be about. Doesn't ruin too much per se, but you know, you get a good idea of what you're going to see going in, which is cool. Yeah, nothing too much from the trailer. What didn't make the final cut, I think there were a couple of tiny little bits that they changed. Like the rejected stamp instead of the actual proper stamp, the official stamp on his enlistment form that got denied before, you know, pre-serum. That was pretty much about it, really. So the movie itself was directed by Joe Johnston, who I'm most, you know for my childhood for directing Jumanji, which is one of my favourite movies because it has one of my favourite actors, Robin Williams, in that. I watched that religiously growing up, so I know his name from that straight away. Yeah, so he did a really good job. It's sad that he hasn't been able to come back, but it's fine, it worked out even without him. Yeah, he does a fine job directing. When I was seeing the credits roll in the movie, I couldn't help but notice that the screenwriters were Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. Those two have done the screenplays for every single Cap movie, all 3 of them. So that's brilliant. That is really good. I'm glad that they were there from day dot, you know, from the start, moving through the trilogy, writing Cap as they see fit and doing such a great job, really. It's amazing what they've done with that character, so I thought that was really cool. Yeah, so yeah, Chris Evans, awesome. I love pre-serum Steve, little tiny and skinny and, you know, like the runt of the litter kind of guy, but he doesn't let that stop him. Bless his soul, doesn't let that stop him from doing anything. He was still going to join the army. He's like,
Kendall, I'm unable to do that.
Okay, thanks Siri. Just interrupted my video. Thank you so much. I don't know why my watch just did that. Yeah, I got nothing. Anyway, that's funny. Enjoy that. Anyway, I love pre-serum Steve. He's, yeah, he's just it's just the determination, despite his adversity, like, you know, his obvious, like, ailments that are preventing them from letting him sign up is just, you know, and he just doesn't, he wants to find a way. He's like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll be part of this war. Even once he's got the, you know, he's had the serum and he's become Captain America, he's, well, not even then, just before he becomes Cap, he's like, I'll do anything, you know, because they're like, we want to keep you in a lab, we wanted a, you know, General Phillips, Tommy Lee Jones says to him, he's like, we wanted an army and all we got was you, so, you know, you're going to stay here in a lab, we're going to run tests and try and synthesize your blood and recreate the serum and the experiment and blah blah blah. And then the other guy's like, the senator's like, no, you want to do something for your country, we've got a use for you. We can make it work. So, and then he's like, I'll do whatever it takes. And he says yes without even knowing what he's signing up for, which is, you know, during the whole recruitment thing and the war bonds thing with, you know, we get the lovely montage of all the girls dressed up in their awesome suits, and we see him in the uniform for the first time, which is pretty badass. Yeah, I love that montage. It's a really good montage. But he's just, I just love his spirit. He's just, and I got chills now. Just, it's so great watching this movie and then knowing what comes after it, because, I mean, Steve doesn't really change too much. I mean, he grows and obviously becomes less naive as he goes along and adapts to the modern storyline and situations he finds himself in. But he never changes. He stays the good, strong man that Erskine told him to be. Just be true to himself and his heart, and he never let that go. And I just love watching this movie, knowing what's in store, because I just love that line when he's like, you know, when Erskine's like, do you want to kill Nazis? And Steve says, I don't want to kill anyone. I just don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from. And I just it's such a good line. It's just so true to who Captain America is. It's wonderful. Okay, speaking of wonderful, Hayley Atwell as Peggy Carter. Yes, this is her debut in the role. Freaking awesome. She's badass. The first scene you meet her, she's taking it to, you know, that smart ass guy who's like clearly sexist and like, you know, why are you here? You're British, you're not American, and you're a woman. Like, you're not going to do anything useful for us. You're not going to help us at all. And then she's just like, not having any of this, and, you know, she punches him right in the face. And then Colonel Phillips walks up and is just like, yeah, I see you're you know, breaking in the new recruits, and he doesn't blink an eye. The fact she just punched somebody, doesn't matter. It's great. Love it. Love Peggy. Love Hayley Atwell so much. Recommendation, check out Agent Carter. I know it's only 2 seasons and it's left on a cliffhanger, but I don't care. It's fantastic viewing. It's awesome. Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones. The only bad thing about him being in this movie is the fact that because he's in this movie, he can't be in any other movies. Because he was really cool. And he's always really cool. Like, Tommy Lee Jones is always a lot of fun. In all of his roles. He's a great actor, great character actor. I mean, he plays a lot of similar characters in all the movies he's in, you know, cops and soldiers and generals and all of that. But that's fine. He's good at it. He's really good in this. And I love this leader he is. He's not an asshole, but he's not an asshole. If you know what I mean? I think he's a really good leader. I really like him quite a bit. Very good. We also get Dominic Cooper as a young Howard Stark, who is very much like Tony Stark, being just the very, you know, the leader of Stark Industries and the womanizer, the egotistical, the arrogant, like charming, you know, seductive, whatever, like, you know, guy. Like, he's that. He's yeah, Tony takes after his father completely. And it was really cool to see a younger version, because we've had him in Iron Man 2, you know, adult, like proper adult, you know, middle-aged Howard Stark, and that was really good. And then in this we get to see, you know, what he was like when he was a bit younger. He also pops up in the Agent Carter series as well, which is great. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Who else? Oh yes, alright, so big things in this movie. Big things, guys. Okay, so first off, we have an Infinity Stone. The first Infinity Stone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is huge. So we have the introduction of the Tesseract, which is the cosmic cube that, surrounds the Space Stone, which is used as an energy source and to transport someone or some things from one point to another through space. So that huge. Yeah, this is the first time we get this. It's massive. Of course, we had no idea. Well, I don't think at the time, only hardcore fans, I think, would have known that it was an Infinity Stone, and this is the direction the MCU's heading in. It wasn't even really called the MCU at that point, I don't think. I can't remember. It was a few years ago now. But it's a huge thing. So that's really cool. Also, introduction of Hydra, the big bad of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Second only to Thanos. The Nazi science division turned cult, led by Johann Schmidt, aka Red Skull, played by Hugo Weaving, and he does a fantastic job. Aussies represent. He's really good. He does the villain. We see him as Mr. Smith in the Matrix movies. We know he can do the villain. He's great at it. He's good. He's good in this. And then we have Toby Jones as Arnim Zola. He's kind of he's more like a bumbling sidekick in this film. He becomes more important later on. Hydra, huge introduction. Done really well, really awesome. Loved it. Loved it. I also there's a nice little throwaway line, which I'm totally taking as Indiana Jones is set in the same universe as this movie and the MCU, because I think it was Schmidt, Red Skull, I think he said Führer's digging for trinkets in the desert, and I'm like, that's an Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark reference. Yes. And maybe Last Crusade, I guess, because that's kind of in the desert too. But yeah, I thought that was super cool. I love that. Love that. All about that. Another cool thing about the Tesseract is that where it was located was in Norway. And randomly David Bradley, who's Filch in Harry Potter, and Thingo from Game of Thrones. Everybody, we hate him so much, but he's finally dead now. Spoilers. I've forgotten his name, but it's not important. Doesn't matter. We're not talking. This is not the Game of Thrones video series. It's not. And then there's a lot of connections with Thor in this movie as well, because here you're in Norway and Schmidt's come for the Tesseract, and it's encased in inside like a carving, I guess, an engraving on a wall of Yggdrasil, which is the world's tree, which Thor talks about with Jane, and that is the world's tree is like where all the different realms in the universe are connected to. Everything's connected by the tree, and for some reason, the Tesseract is in there, and it's been there for apparently thousands of years, I think, maybe, or a few hundreds of years. I don't know. They don't actually really specify. They kind of just allude to the fact that somehow it got out of Odin's treasure vault and ended up on Earth, just locked away. And these people in Norway were protecting it, and then Red Skull came in and just took it because he could. So that's that. But I like that connection. There's also a cool connection when some Nazi soldiers, high-ranking officers come in and talk to Schmidt, because they're about to shut him down because, you haven't done anything for us yet. Hitler doesn't care about what you're doing. We don't care about what you're doing on your bike. But Red Skull's like, nah, I've made all these weapons with the Tesseract and I'm gonna kill you. And then there's a nice little line that's kind of talking about, they're having a go at Schmidt saying it's magic, and then he's like, well, no, it's science. And then I was just like, oh, it's a Thor reference again. It's bloody, when Jane says that magic is just science we don't understand yet, and then Thor, you know, and how Thor is like, you know, where I come from, magic and science are one and the same thing. So I love that connection as well. It's really cool. Oh gosh, what else? Yeah, we get the introduction of the SSR obviously as well, with Erskine and Stark, and, you know, and Agent Carter and Colonel Phillips. They're all kind of involved with the SSR. SSR, of course, for those who don't know, is the Strategic Scientific Reserve, or Strategic Science Reserve. I can't remember. I think Scientific Reserve. But basically, that is the foundation of what we know now as S.H.I.E.L.D. That's where S.H.I.E.L.D. started. So that's also another really important thing about this movie. We get the beginnings of S.H.I.E.L.D. Very early days before Hydra infiltrated. So I thought, yeah, really, really cool. Lots of important things happening in this movie. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, I love the line. I love the line after, in the final moments of the movie final minutes when Steve Rogers is like, I've got to go up in the plane, I've got to stop Red Skull before he, you know, drops bombs on, you know, the eastern seaboard of America. And then he's about to leave, and then Peggy's like, wait, and pulls him down, kisses him, because, you know, they've been like having a thing the whole movie, and they finally kiss, and it's wonderful because they've got such good chemistry, and they're meant to be, but they're not meant to be, and it's so sad. But I just really liked the line. It just made me laugh out loud so much when I watched it. Just after that, they kiss, he pulls away, and then he looks at Colonel Phillips, and he's just like, no, I'm not kissing you. And I burst out laughing. So funny. I really enjoyed that. There's a lot of really good character moments. Of course, I should mention too, Bucky. We get the introduction of Bucky in this movie, who is obviously goes on to be the Winter Soldier, and we see his death as Bucky in this film when he falls from the train, and it's just heartbreaking. But you know, only comic book fans or diehard fans really knew who Bucky was. I didn't know. I didn't know who the Winter Soldier was until I saw the Winter Soldier, because I was a bit of a noob early on when it came to the MCU. But, you know, my love for them grew with every movie, and I learnt more about all these characters and who they are and what they do, and became more fascinated by them with every movie that came out. So yeah, so it's really interesting watching Winter Soldier and then going back and watching this and comparing Bucky and Winter Soldier, and but yeah, I love that. Bucky's really good. Sebastian Stan, fantastic job. Very, very good. We also get the Howling Commandos in the movie too. They're not in the movie as much as I would like. I'd love to see more, and I'm glad we got to also see them in Agent Carter. That was another really good thing about Agent Carter when that came out. Got to see them in action with Peggy. Very, very good. Seriously guys, can't recommend that show enough. Go watch it. It's so good. Yes, what else is there to discuss? Okay, well, I guess I could just talk about the Stan Lee cameo quickly. Very brief little scene he has. He's a decorated army war veteran by the looks of things, or a high up ranking general or something, because he's very highly decorated. He's got all the medals and stuff on him, the signia on him, and then yeah, and it's during the Senator's wants to award Captain America for saving the soldiers' lives from Hydra, and he's not there, and then some other random dude walks out, and then the camera pans to Stan Lee in his army getup, and he's just like, I thought he'd be taller, which I thought was quite funny. Like, it's fine. It's a little Stan. The one in Thor was a lot better, but this one is just fine. It's like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't really have to do much. He's there. That's all you need. That's all you need from Stan. So the ending of the movie is really interesting because, you know, obviously we get Steve waking up after he took the plane down. Red Skull has disappeared to some far off region in space. We don't know where he's gone. He still hasn't come back in the MCU. We have no reference, nothing, anything. No idea what's going on with him. So they could bring him back at any point, but I think the word is Hugo Weaving doesn't really want to do the Red Skull. He doesn't want to be Red Skull anymore. I I don't know if I could be misquoting some shit pretty bad, so I apologize if I am, but that's what I've been hearing. So that's disappointing, but yeah, so he's not dead, but Cap thought he was dead because the way he got almost like just vanished into thin air. And for a while I thought he was dead. I'm like, no, he just got transported somewhere far off into space. So who knows where he is. And then obviously Steve goes down. He's in the ice for 70 years. While they're looking for him, they find the Tesseract, take the Tesseract out. Howard Stark has the Tesseract for a little while. And then, obviously it stays with S.H.I.E.L.D. and then S.H.I.E.L.D. have it. Which is where we see, Eric Selvig at the end of Thor talking to Nick Fury, and he shows him the Tesseract. And then in this, we get Steve waking up. They find him finally, and they try to just pass it off as if it's still 1943, and they fail miserably. And then he runs out into the middle of Times Square, and then Nick Fury's like, you've got you missed out on a lot. Things are, we need you, and all of this. He just big exposition-y thing. And that's kind of where the movie ends, and Steve's just like, I had a date, and he's talking about his date with Peggy. He was kind of making with her as the plane was going down, and I cried, you guys. I've seen this movie like a million times, and I just love those two, and the fact they never got to, really have their dance, and it just breaks my heart. So I got teary because I just loved the performances. Are just so, and Hayley Atwell breaks my heart. She's so beautiful. It's wonderful. So yeah, post-credit scene of the film. Post-credit scene is interesting. Basically, it's a trailer for the Avengers. So we get the scene of Steve in the, somewhere in S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters in New York, and he's, punching away at all these punching bags and all of that. Boxing, I don't even know what they call them. I guess punching bag's the right term. And then Nick Fury walks in, and then he gives him a bit of dialogue about how, Steve's like, trying to get me back out in the world, and he's like, no, we're trying to save it. And then cut to a montage of footage from Avengers. And then, saying that's coming in 2012, and then that's pretty much it. And then, the first time, so this was the first movie, excuse me, even though Thor came out the same year, this movie came out in 2011, but it was late 2011. Thor came out earlier 2011, April, May. This was the first time we had that title card at the end pop up saying, this character will return in the Avengers. So it was Captain America will return in the Avengers. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. So finally, textual, canonical confirmation, Avengers is happening, and then we get that trailer, and it's like, whoa, shit. Yeah, really, really cool. Okay, I think that's probably all I have to talk about. I covered, I think, everything. I mean, I just really like this movie quite a bit. It's fantastic. It's underrated. It needs to be appreciated more. So go watch it, appreciate it, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Avengers. That's right, guys. We made it to the end of Phase 1. That is Phase 1 done. So come back and join me as we discuss that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully I don't waffle on for too long, because these videos are getting longer and longer each time I do them. I'm sorry. I just love this stuff so much. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Kendall Richardson, and you just experienced non-scripted ramblings.